Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Layla. In this video we're going to look at how to write for the Ielts Writing Task 1, analyzing a bar chart. And this is our question. The chart shows the participation of 5 to 14-year-olds in selected leisure activities in the UK. Let's take a closer look at the chart. Looking closer at the chart, we can see that this axis represents the percentages, so that is how often people are involved in these activities. This axis here has got the names of all the activities, so we have skateboarding and rollerblading, bike riding, watching TV and videos, electronic computer games, and art and craft. Looking at the key here, we can see that green represents boys and purple represents the girls. Now we're going to look at how to write the introduction for this task. In order to write the introduction, we have to rewrite the question and also add any information from the chart itself. So let's take a look at the question again. The chart shows the participation of 5 to 14-year-olds in selected leisure activities in the UK. As you can see, I have underlined certain aspects of the question, and these are the aspects that I have given a synonym or have paraphrased in my introduction. You can see I've also added other information that you can't find in the question, but this is what I have got from the chart itself. Let's see. The chart illustrates, instead of shows, I've got illustrates, the frequency of use. That means how often activities are used. The frequency of use of 5 recreational activities. Recreational is another word for leisure. So the word 5 I have got from the chart because there were 5 activities. 5 recreational activities, and I need to say what the activities were. Skateboarding, rollerblading, bike riding, watching TV or videos, electronic computer games, and art and craft. And I've got all of this from the chart. Of children aged between 5 to 14 in the UK. The question says 5 to 14-year-olds. It doesn't tell us if the 5 to 14-year-olds are adults or children, but we know that a person who is between the age of 5 and 14 is a child. So we have added that ourselves, and I have changed the format of this. 5 to 14-year-olds is an adjective used altogether. We've changed the structure. Of children, which is the noun, aged between 5 to 14 in the UK. So this introduction means that I have rewritten some of the words, but I've also included information from the chart itself. Next, we're going to write the second paragraph, and that is the overview. Now, the overview is the most important paragraph for Ielts Writing Task 1. And in the overview, we have to write down the key features of the chart. And that means writing down any comparisons, more or less, writing down maybe the most or the least of something in the chart. So, before we look at our paragraph, let's go and visit the chart one more time. Looking overall at the chart, we look to see if we can see more green or can we see more purple. Altogether, we can see more green than purple, apart from the last activity and also the middle activity. But the other three, the green is greater, and the green is represented by the boys. So one key feature is that the majority, that means 3 out of 5, the majority of activities had more participation from boys. Another key feature we can see is that one activity, the boys and the girls had the same amount of participation, which was 100%. So that means all the boys and girls took part in this one activity. And the final key feature is that in one activity only, the girls took part more than boys, and that was art and craft. So those are the key features. Now let's write them down in the overview. So in our overview, we're going to write down the key features that we remember. Overall, and we start our overview with the word overall to show the examiner that this is what we're talking about overall. So it's a very general view that we have of the chart. We're not looking at any specific point of the chart in too much detail yet. Overall, apart from one activity, art and crafts, boys participated more in the recreational activities than the girls. As you saw, we saw more green than purple. Both the boys and girls showed 100% participation in watching TV videos. If you remember, the boys and the girls had 100% participation, while the least participation was evident, and that's my passive, the least participation was evident in skateboarding and rollerblading. In addition to this, the boys showed the least amount of participation in a second activity, which was art and crafts. Now I'm going to point out a few writing techniques that we've used here. Firstly, we've used one example of the passive, and it's very nice to use the passive because this is a very academic style of writing for the Ielts Task 1. We've got the comparison of more than, which is one is greater than the other. We've also got two other comparisons here, the least, which is one of them, and another, the least. So we're showing the smallest amount. We also have an example of a complex sentence where we have added two sentences together. So both the boys and girls, instead of saying the boys and the girls, we start with both. Both the boys and girls showed 100% participation in watching TV videos, while, in other words, however, the least participation was evident in skateboarding and rollerblading. Instead of cutting the sentence here and starting a new one, we have combined these two sentences together with this linker here, while. And then here we've got another linker in addition to this. That means we're adding an extra bit of information. Okay, so these are the little techniques that we've used in this style of writing. After the overview, we're now going to take a look at body paragraph 1. Now, the important thing in body paragraph 1 and 2 is that we need to organize our ideas and write in a logical manner. So let's look at the chart here and see which aspects of the chart stand out and how we can separate different aspects of the chart to create two paragraphs. Okay. So the way I have chosen to do this is I have chosen first to write about all the activities where the boys participated more. So I have chosen electronic computer games, bike riding, skateboarding and rollerblading because in all three of these the boys participated more than the girls. So that's going to be my paragraph body 1, and then for paragraph body 2 I'm going to use the other activities where the boys did not necessarily participate more than the girls. In watching videos and watching TV and videos, you can see boys and girls were the same, and in art and craft you can see the girls were more. So that's going to be in paragraph 2 for the body, and these three are going to be in body paragraph 1. Now, the important thing in body paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 is that we need to, like I said, logically organize our ideas, and in order to help us to do that, we have to use linkers. Another word is transition words or discourse markers, and these are the words that I've highlighted in red. It would be very nice also if we can use the passive voice, again because this is a very academic style of writing. So I'm going to read the paragraph, and as you can see I have some passive verbs here and I also have some linkers here as well. Regarding skateboarding, rollerblading, around 10% greater participation was made among boys at 40% than girls at 30%. Likewise, in other words also, bike riding was another activity whereby around 15% more boys took part in comparison to girls. So here I've written down a comparison where boys had 10% more participation in this activity than girls, and I've used the passive. Likewise, so we're writing another comparison where the boys did more than the girls. Bike riding was another activity whereby, in other words, which around 15% more boys took part in comparison to, compared to, girls. And I've written down what the figures were. When I have the word respectively, that means if I talk about the boys first, then I write the percentage of the boys first. If I talk about the girls second, then I write the percentage of the girls second. That's what respectively means, and it's a very nice word. Another activity, i.e. means for example. Another activity, electronic computer games, were shown to have more involvement from the boys at 80% as opposed to the girls at 60%. So again, I have my passive verb. They had more involvement. Instead of using the word participate again, because I've got participation here, instead of copying this word again, I've used a synonym. Have more involvement from the boys at 80% as opposed to, which is another way of saying in comparison to, as opposed to the girls at 60%. So I've got 3 complete sentences here talking about 3 different activities. In each of these sentences, I've tried to display my percentages and my data in different ways. In this one, I've displayed them separately in brackets. In this one, I've displayed them again in brackets together, saying respectively, and in this sentence, I've displayed them in the sentence themselves. It's very important that we include the percentages in the body paragraphs. Now let's go to body paragraph 2. Here we have body paragraph 2, which is the final paragraph for our Ielts writing task 1. Again, I have used linking words and I have got some passive verbs. On the other hand, the level of participation in the remaining 2 activities, watching TV videos and art and craft, was either equal in boys and girls. As you can see, watching TV and video was equal for boys and girls, and also we have this activity here where for the first time we've got boys participating less than girls. So, on the other hand, the level of participation in the remaining 2 activities, watching TV videos and art and craft, was either equal in boys and girls, or, unlike all the other activities, was lower in boys than girls. 100% involvement was seen in watching TV and video games by both boys and girls. That's my passive verb. Regarding art and crafts, so when I'm starting to talk about another sentence, I use regarding. This was the only activity which had a greater number of girls partaking or participating. This activity was carried out 20% more by girls, around 60%, as opposed to boys, around 40%. And that is the final paragraph for our IELTS writing task 1. I hope you found it useful. Thank you.